football will also be hard as a rock. A subtle adjustment from Aaron Rodgers. When he passes, Rodgers likes to loosen his grip a little bit on the football. He told us it helps accommodate throwing in the cold and the wind, where I can't speak. Now let's go over to the 49ers sideline and Erin Andrews.
Pam, thanks so much. How does the team from California stay warm? Layers. San Francisco brought 2,500 extra pounds of clothing. The players said they're going to bundle up and adjust as the game goes. Footing, a really big concern here. Pam mentioned the tarp was on the field. 49ers were not able to get out here and test the conditions, so each player has 3 pairs of cleats available to them. They will also adjust as they go. Colin Kaepernick did tell me the footing wasn't so bad during warm-ups, but he anticipates it getting worse as those big bodies get out there. Joe?
And there are plenty of those. As we get set for kickoff, San Francisco won the toss. They deferred. And before we get rolling here today, a reminder, Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing the SAP on Fox button. Aaron Rodgers is set to go. He'll be the first one out there at quarterback. Then later it's Colin Kaepernick. The 49ers have had the Green Bay Packers numbers, winning the last 3 games they have met. The first game of this season, the first game of last season, then obviously that divisional round playoff game last year out in San Francisco.
But they haven't played in conditions like this.
No, not many have. And as we've already said, it's going to get worse as we go, as they expect the wind to pick up, and it is really going to be nasty here tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on the weather and keep you updated as we go with that. Randall Cobb is waiting for the kick. So Cobb last week, his first game back after missing 10 games. He caught only 2 passes, obviously the biggest one of the game winner, but he did not return kicks this week. He says he feels fine, no restrictions. He'll return the opening kickoff.
Well, we talked to Mike McCarthy on Friday, not only returning kickoffs, but he will have a more prominent role with the offense this week as well.
Dawson will kick it away. Glad you're with us. Cobb will get a chance to return it from inside the 5. Out across the 20 and drives his way to the 25. Brought down by Kasim Osgood, one of the top special teams players for the 49ers and one of the top special teams players in the NFL. 22-yard return, and here is Aaron Rodgers, who has a career playoff quarterback rating of 103.6 and a 5-3 record, the MVP of Super Bowl 45.
Got off to a tough start last week in that win against the Chicago Bears, but he said it was not due to rust, just some balls that got away from him, but clearly he finished that game in strong fashion.
319. On first down, they're going to run it with Lacy. Pressure up front. Lacy makes the most out of it. He is able to turn it into a positive play, but he had to work to get 1 yard. First guy there was Aldon Smith. He blew it up. This is what you talked about, this statistic, Troy, about why the Packers are better than in years past on a day like this.
They couldn't run the ball in years past the way they can this year, and I think that they got better as a running team, certainly a more physical team during that stretch. Aaron Rodgers was not playing quarterback.
On 2nd and 9, delayed handoff to Lacy. He has been bothered by a sprained right ankle. Better this week than he has been over the last 3. 3rd and 3 coming up, and now we look at the defense. And while Green Bay can run it, San Francisco outstanding at shutting down a running game.
They've been really good, and I know Mike McCarthy likes the matchups in the passing game, but the Packers come right out on the first 2 snaps running the ball.
And they do it again with Kuhn. And John Kuhn is going to be knocked down short of first down yardage. Justin Smith, the big defensive end, was in there. 3 plays, 3 running plays. The ball may have come loose, but right now they've marked him short of first down yardage. There's the ball out. Kuhn is able to get back on top of it, but on 4th and 1, It ends up a 3-and-out first possession for Green Bay.
Yeah, interesting. Kuhn very lucky that the ball comes back. He's able to get on it, so they at least are able to punt the ball. But 3 snaps and 3 straight runs by the Green Bay Packers.
Good punt. Really good. Back inside the 20. It's LaMichael James. And he crosses the 25. And on this windy day, a 48-yard punt from Mastay. Craig Dahl almost got a hand on it. Came close. The return by James, and now here's Colin Kaepernick. And Troy, the Packers have seen plenty of number 7.
Yes, they have. I mean, you could argue that his 2 best games as a professional with the 49ers have come against this Green Bay Packer team. He was sensational, as you said, last year in that divisional playoff win, and then week 1 throwing for over 400 yards.
Delayed handoff, it's Gore, picks his way right side. We were there last week when the Chicago Bears had their way running the ball against this Green Bay defense. Gore picks up 7 on his first carry of the day. You see what the 49ers offensively have averaged over their last 2 games against the Pack, and Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator. Second and 3. Quick setup and throw. Pass caught. Crabtree makes a move. Has a first down as he crosses the 45. Morgan Burnett on the tackle. A catch and run of 14 yards.
You're going to see the route here by Michael Crabtree. He just comes out of the route, and then Morgan Burnett is there to make a play. You see he kind of has troubles with his footing, but I think that's going to be one of the real keys for this Green Bay defense. They just have not been good tacklers this season. We saw it last week against Chicago. Morgan Burnett doesn't make a play on Crabtree after he makes the catch.
Now Sam Shields is slow to get up, and they look at him right at midfield. Yeah, there were so many breakdowns last week defensively for Green Bay against the Chicago Bears. And you can see the ankle get pinned underneath. Burnett and Crabtree. That left ankle. Malumba was in there as well, and there were bodies on top of that left ankle of Sam Shields. And Shields has been one of the more consistent performers in this secondary for Green Bay. That did not look good. We'll take a break, come back. First down for the 49ers when we return. They look at Shields. He needed a lot of help to get off the field. That's a big loss for Green Bay. First down, 49ers. First possession, Malumba is very close to starting that play in the neutral zone. As Kaepernick over the right side picks up a yard. Mike Neal out there. And there's Shields, who was in a lot of pain coming off the field.
Well, you talk about what a blow that is to this defense, and Shields and his contributions. Think of that Dallas game and the plays that he made in that one. And of course, the interception that set up the game winner. And you know, they're somewhat thin anyway, and now they've got Devon House, who lost his job a few weeks back, and now he's the one taking Shields' place. He's down here at the bottom.
Kaepernick looks right the whole way. Pass broken up. Crabtree the intended target with Tramon Williams, who's been playing better and better week after week out there defending.
Yeah, he's challenging these receivers. He does a good job of coming in on Michael Crabtree, recognizing the drop of Colin Kaepernick, knowing that it's going to be a quick pass. And here's Mike Neal, the guys who have really contributed to this Packers team. A good block there by Kendall Hunter against him, but Mike Neal has been a strong performer for the Packers all year.
Third down and 9. Kaepernick floats it. Pass caught. Crabtree first down. And the ball comes out. It goes out of bounds. It will stay with San Francisco. Micah Hyde was there, but the ball went out of bounds after the completion to Crabtree.
Yeah, Kaepernick knew he had him on the outside, and then it's just a matter of whether or not he's able to drive it to the sideline, getting a feel for the ball. In these types of conditions, when the weather's as cold as it is, it sometimes creates a little bit of film on the ball, Joe, to where it becomes a little bit more difficult to spin it the way you can in better conditions.
On first down, it's Gore left side, nowhere to go. Down he goes. First guy there was Perry. Ryan Pickett was there to blow it up front, and a loss of 5.
Well, they get penetration right here on the front side where Frank Gore is trying to go, and then when that's taken away, he's going to try to cut back. You see the pursuit that they had. Think back to last week against the Bears, Joe, and the Packers, they gave up containment a number of times that really hurt them. That time doing a great job of staying home and bottling up Frank Gore.
2nd and 15. Kaepernick stumbled, dropping back. Pass is caught by Crabtree. Michael Crabtree, who missed the first 11 games in his 6th game back after surgery on his torn Achilles, is good for 14.
It's a great catch by Michael Crabtree. I thought that at the top of that route you saw with the right hand Devon House, who just came into the game, had a grab of the jersey there on Crabtree as he tries to come back out of that back shoulder fade. And Michael Crabtree's not where he was, Joe. You wouldn't expect him to be. That was a major injury that he came off of, but he's gotten better each week.
3rd down and 2. Play clock expires, and that'll make it 3rd and 7. Evidently a timeout happened from the sideline because Kaepernick wasn't aware of the play clock. So whether it was Harbaugh on the sideline, the timeout is called, and instead of 3rd and 7, it remains 3rd down and 2.
You know, one of the discussions, Joe, in talking with the different players, even Josh Sitton, offensive lineman, left guard for the Green Bay Packers, was whether or not they would wear sleeves coming into this game. As you see, most of the Packers are wearing them. Josh Sitton said he was going to wait until pregame warmups before he decided what he was going to do. Colin Kaepernick is not wearing sleeves, and as soon as the timeout was called, he ran over and got a jacket on so that he could try to stay warm.
The all-time coldest game, the Ice Bowl in '67, started at 13 below 0. Then that San Diego at Cincinnati game in January of '82. The Giants here in January of '08 against the Packers. And you can see up top in the Fox box, it's 5 with a wind chill of -10. 3rd down and 2. A busted play, and Kaepernick goes down. Malumba, the first one there.
There's just miscommunication in the line. You see Frank Gore, looks like he's trying to look to see exactly, what's happening, and Colin Kaepernick thought he was going to stay to the right side. Frank Gore goes to the left, and a missed opportunity of picking up a first down.
And so now on 4th down and 6, the offense stays out there. Harbaugh wants the play clock reset. It's frozen right now at 16. Now they do reset it. 4th and 6. Blitz coming. 49ers pick it up. It's Crabtree behind the defense down to the 5. They're going to give him that forward roll to the 4, and it's 31 yards on 4th and 6.
Well, the Packers are expecting the ball to go to Vernon Davis down at this part of the field. They double him, do a good job on him down the middle, but they completely turn Michael Crabtree loose. Just a breakdown in coverage. We've seen that a number of times from this Packers defense as well.
A Packers defense that comes in allowing almost 27 points per game, which is the most by any of the playoff teams this season.
San Francisco.
And another timeout taken by San Francisco before a 1st and goal from the 4. We talked about the ice bowl. Here you go.
Jack, your thoughts here as we're moments away from the kickoff.
I think it's very cold, Ray.
This turned into the second to last game that head coach Vince Lombardi coached for the Green Bay Packers, and with 13 seconds left, the quarterback sneaked to win it by Bart Starr. First down at the 1. They had no gains on 2 consecutive plays. And then on 3rd down, it was Starr taking it in.
Earlier in the week, it looked like this game might challenge that one as far as the coldest.
Well, there's a little better than expected. Now 1st and goal after the 4th down conversion. Kaepernick keeps it. And is going to throw. Incomplete, nearly picked. Davis the intended target. And it was Tramon Williams in the back of the end zone that almost made the interception.
Well, Vernon Davis has, what, 13 touchdowns this year, and most of them come down here close to the goal line, and they know they've got to keep an eye on him. Tramon Williams almost makes a nice play on the ball. Vernon Davis almost got it off of his helmet as well. Both those guys look to have had an opportunity at bringing that one in.
Tramon Williams with 3 picks, all of them over the last 7 games. 2nd and goal. Kaepernick keeps it again. Bolden was in the end zone looking his way, and the pass is over everybody's head. 3rd and goal. Anquan Bolden was the initial target. He was well covered.
Yeah, they're trying to get him back to the corner as well and get Kaepernick outside and let him have a 2-man route and see if he can't find somebody open. But right now the Packers doing a good job of holding up with the ball inside the 5-yard line.
12th play of this drive. 3rd down and goal. Kaepernick. Crabtree broken up. Devon House, who took the place of Sam Shields defending. And it's 4th down.
Yeah, just one-on-one. Devon House, Michael Crabtree. Bit of a grab there at the top of that route. Crabtree wanting the call. Officials let him play. Good defensive stop. Good drive for the 49ers. But when the Packers had to hold up inside the 5, they're able to force a Phil Dawson field goal attempt.
Nothing's routine. 22-yard attempt. Good snap. Good hold. Kick is perfect. And Michael Crabtree, 4 catches, 70 yards on that initial drive by the 49ers, including 31 on 4th and 6. 3-0 San Francisco. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance. Impressive drive to start this game offensively for San Francisco. It stalled inside the 5. Green Bay will get it for the 2nd time after a 13-play drive. 13th play, the 22-yard field goal by Dawson. Crabtree was the focal point for Kaepernick on that possession. Again, it's Cobb. Randall Cobb, far sideline, again out to the 25. Take a break, come back. It's Aaron Rodgers has yet to throw a pass. Down 3. Lambeau Field, 3-0 San Francisco on top. 2nd possession. The Green Bay Packers. 49ers forced a 3-and-out the opening drive. They have not allowed opening drive points over their last 14 games. They are so good defensively and have been under Vic Fangio. Starting at the 26, it's Lacy. That's 4 plays, 4 runs. A gain of 1. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, the news from the Packers sideline could have significant impact on the Green Bay defense. Cornerback Sam Shields has a knee injury. So does linebacker Mike Neal. He came off the field holding his right knee. Both players are questionable. More patchwork for Dom Capers.
Van thanks. Second down, 2nd and 9. 319. Play action, first throw. Maybe. Rodgers will go down. Aaron Rodgers brought down a loss of 2 as he's knocked at the 25 by Ray McDonald. 3rd and long coming up.
Well, the 49ers, they played coverage and just nowhere for Aaron Rodgers to go with the football. They get the pressure inside. That's one of the things about this 49er defense, that they're able to get a push with guys like Justin Smith, Ray McDonald inside. Not a lot of teams are able to do that, but they can get the inside movement that creates real problems for any quarterback.
Smith and McDonald share that sack. Now 3rd and 11. Movement up at the tackle spot.
Start offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
That's on the 4th round pick, David Bakhtiari, who has really had a good year, Troy, when you consider he wasn't going to be counted on for much, but they lost Brian Bulaga in camp, and Bakhtiari's played all year at left tackle.
Yeah, it hasn't been without some growing pains, but Josh Sitton said that he knew Bakhtiari was going to be a good player when they got to training camp and they had to put on the pads, and he said he was able to block Clay Matthews that day, and he said, I think we found us something here.
3rd down and 16. 4 men on the rush. Rodgers out to his right. Pass incomplete for Boykin. It's 4th down, and that is back-to-back 3-and-outs.
One of the things that the Packers have been so good at is this slot receiver. It's been Jordy Nelson while Randall Cobb has been down. We'll see both of those guys work in that position, but they like to puncture right through the middle of that defense, and the 49ers took it away.
Mastag hit one for 48 his first time. This one is ugly. And it is down on the Green Bay side of midfield. Just a 28-yard punt on this cold day in Green Bay. 49ers have it up 3. Temperature has officially gone down 1 degree.
Yeah, you look at it, you see the Packers trying to get warmed up. I don't think you ever get used to the cold. You just get used to being cold.
Starting at the Green Bay 49, handoff to Gore. Breaks the tackle, gets to the edge. Burnett drags him down. First guy who went around was Devon House, and a gain of 9 to start this possession for San Francisco.
You see Frank Gore here, and you think back to week 1 when these two teams met, and the Packers did a nice job of containing Frank Gore. He just had 44 rushing yards in that game, but as you pointed out moments ago, Joe, this is a different Packers run defense since week 1. The last 10 weeks of the season, they really struggled. In fact, in 3 of those games gave up over 200 yards rushing. So they've had their share of problems.
2nd and 1, it's Gore for the first down. Remember, Green Bay playing without Clay Matthews. They've already lost Sam Shields and Mike Neal, it appears, in this game. Their returns are questionable. It didn't look good with both of them leaving the playing field, and with coming up on 6 minutes left in the opening quarter, as you look at Clay Matthews, it's a first down for San Francisco, and they look like they're having no problem moving the ball against the Packer defense. Kaepernick protected down the middle. Bolden, the intended target, incomplete. Great start for Bolden as a 49er in that first game against Green Bay out in San Francisco. 13 catches, over 200 yards, and a touchdown. He's coming off a good game at Arizona. The 49ers won their final game and finished the year 12-4.
It was a little bit misleading, I think, for the 49ers and probably the 49ers fans, the way that they threw the ball week 1 with Mario Manningham down, Michael Crabtree, Anquan Bolden, as you said, has a great day, and Colin Kaepernick had to hang in there until some of his guys came back healthy.
Here is a pass to Bolden, and has Davis out in front of him blocking. Jennings in on the stop, and they're going to mark him just short of a first down by about half a yard.
You wonder where this 49er team would have been without Anquan Boldin, because of so many of their players, their key guys, not being available to start this year. And Boldin came in, as you said, over 200 yards receiving week 1, coming off a great game last week, and he's about as tough and as physical a guy as you'll find in all of football.
They're going to measure. He looked to be clearly short of first down yardage, but they're going to measure anyway. The chains are right there, so they'll just bring him off the sideline. And they're short. 3rd and less than a yard coming up. Anquan Boldin had 33 catches on 3rd down, which led the NFL, and it's been talked about a lot. But for a trade that was made, giving up just a 6th round pick, considering all the issues, as you said, Troy, on the outside that they had, and that's one of the most significant transactions in the NFL really all year.
There's no doubt. I mean, they got him for a steal, and he has really performed well. He's performed at the level that we've grown accustomed to seeing him perform at, whether it's with Baltimore or the Arizona Cardinals to start his career.
On 3rd down, Gore's got it down inside the 25. A gain of 4 on 3rd and less than 1.
Well, the 49ers are so good and creative in the things that they do. They bring in the extra offensive lineman, Adam Snyder, and then Alex Boone. He pulls from the right guard position to help lead the way. And I've said it many times, this offensive line reminds me a lot of the group that I played behind. You just don't find lines this physical in the league much these days.
Here's Gore. He gets stopped. Well played up front. Pickett was in there. Josh Floyd as well, no gain.
And I think that's going to be a key thing for this Green Bay's defense is, the big guys up front. Now, as we saw, Mike Neal has now left. That's significant. They're having to rely on a lot of young linebackers and a lot of the misdirection and things that the 49ers like to do. They can get them out of position and create some lanes, but the big guys up front, specifically Pickett and Raji, they've got to show up here today.
Second down and 10. Kaepernick. Pass is caught. Boldin, first down. Anquan Boldin, who is not particularly fast, but he is strong, he is tough, and he's good for 12.
Yeah, you motion Anquan Boldin down, and what that does is it eliminates any ability to be able to jam him off the line. They pass him off. They give him up to Micah Hyde, so now Micah Hyde has to be prepared for a two-way break. Boldin breaks to the outside, pretty easy pitch and catch.
First possession stalled inside the 5. It's first down from the 11. Kaepernick pulls it down and will just be forced out by Brad Jones, who missed the Chicago game, bothered by a bad ankle. No gain.
Well, it's probably good that Kaepernick didn't throw that ball anyway, because the linemen were downfield. They're expecting it to be a run. He's pulling up, going to get the ball out quick. Not there. So had he have thrown it, they would have been called for pick one. They were all downfield.
Second and 10. Here's Gore. Knocked down near the 6-yard line. A gain of 4. McDaniels on the stop. Third down and 6.
Now, the 49ers, they lost Bruce Miller a few weeks back. He was a terrific player. He was third on the team in receptions, a lead blocker for Frank Gore, and he goes down, and they put Will Tukuafu there at fullback in the running game, 290 pounds, and he can blow up a hole as he did on that last play.
Mark Gore at the 7. Play clock was almost at 0. Pass into the end zone. It's incomplete. Crabtree looking for a flag, and he won't get it on Devon House. And they are letting him play, especially in the end zone. That's twice.
Yeah, there's some more contact there by Devon House. He's just hanging on for dear life. We've seen it a few times already. You'll hear in this ball game from him. Not expected to play much. Shields goes down, and here he is. And Michael Crabtree feeling once again that Devon House got away with a hold.
So the Green Bay defense, they did bend, they did not break. From inside their own 10. Good from 25 is Dawson. 6-0. Jim Harbaugh's 49ers. Any way to get and then try and stay as warm as possible. 4 degrees here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Another long drive that ends in 3 points instead of 7. It's 6-0 San Francisco with just over 2 left in the opening quarter. Randall Cobb waiting for it. Line drive kick. He'll have another chance. His 3rd return. Gets around Dixon. And Dobbs forces him out. A 22-yard return. And we will welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Pam Oliver before the game talked about Aaron Rodgers telling you about how he likes to throw the ball on a cold, windy day.
Yeah, normally in good conditions you'd grip the ball fairly tightly, you know, with your grip and throw the ball naturally and in all conditions. And the first thing you got to do is keep your hands warm. But as Aaron Rodgers explained to us, what he tries to do is loosen up his grip a little bit and lighten the pressure, and it helps him when the ball is cold and when it's in inclement weather, when it's rain, or like we're having here with the temperatures as low as they are. And it took him some time when he got here to Green Bay to figure that out, but he throws it well.
He hasn't had much of a chance to yet. Ball's out. It's recovered by T.J. Lang, but Aaron Rodgers is hit again. Ahmad Brooks was there. Aldon Smith was there. And a loss of 6.
Well, they're trying the quick passing game, and the 49ers are covering it up pretty good. And so he's having to get off of it, and then when he wants to try to come to the check down, he's getting pressure in his face.
That's exactly what Vic Fangio talked about and what Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have been doing. Those quick throws, and the 49ers have been all over them.
Well, they're as good as anybody in football at throwing the slants. That's not lost on Vic Fangio, and they've played it well here in this first half.
Now on 2nd down and 15, there's nothing there. Trying to set up a screen. It's an incomplete pass. And this Green Bay offense not able to do anything against the 49ers.
Well, Justin Smith, Josh Sitton is the one blocking him. He is able to get through because of the screen. Looked like they had an opportunity for Eddie Lacy, but with the pressure that quickly into Rodgers' face, he didn't feel that he could navigate Justin Smith to get the ball to Lacy with blockers out in front of him.
Justin Smith with just overwhelming strength.
He's a beast in the middle, Joe. And Josh Sitton said that next to Ndamukong Suh, he's as physical as he goes against.
On 3rd down and 15, a run by Lacy, and this Green Bay offense is frustrating the fans here at Lambeau. It's 4th down, and they haven't been able to move it at all.
Well, they've not had any success, really, Joe, and they've not been able to throw the football, protect Aaron Rodgers, get guys open in the secondary. And I know coming into this game, both Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy very confident in the matchups that they had, felt that they could come in and exploit some of the things that the 49ers have in the secondary, but they have not been able to do that thus far.
Last punt, no good from Mastey. This one's better. Well, Michael James from just outside the 30 takes it to the 40. He's brought down by Ryan Taylor. Aaron Rodgers has been under pressure. Not able to get anything going offensively for the Packers. 49ers have it again. Up 6. No town that comes to a standstill like Green Bay, Wisconsin comes to a standstill when their Packers are playing. It took them all week to sell out this game, because when they were offering the playoff tickets to the season ticket holders, this team was dead in the water.
Yeah, it gets your attention when Lambeau doesn't sell out.
It did. There is no blackout here locally, and Kaepernick can't find anywhere to go, so he takes off. He slides, gets hit by A.J. Hawk, a gain of 8.
Well, and that's one of the areas, you know, so much attention about the read option and the problems that it gave the Packers last year in that divisional game was not a factor week 1. And as Dom Capers pointed out, you know, their issues really more than anything were trying to contain Colin Kaepernick from the scrambles, and he picks up a nice gain on first down.
Good start for San Francisco, moving it, but so far just 6 points. 1 quarter in the books in this wild card weekend matchup. 6-0 San Fran. That's good. That's how it feels.
Nice eyebrows.
On second down, it's Gore, and he's going to try and fight for the first down. Depends on where they place it. Right at the marker. By the way, the Green Bay Packers, Troy, it has been since 2004. They're going to give the first down. You can see the official here saying it. Now Ed Hockley does it for effect. A demonstrative first down call. It's been since 2004 when the Packers went through an entire first quarter not completing a pass, which is what's happened offensively. Meanwhile, the 49ers have moved it down inside the 10 twice, but have come away with field goals. Up 6-0. Kaepernick has all day, and he's got Bolden with a catch inside the 35. Working on Devon House, a gain of 17.
Yeah, I think they certainly realize that they've got Devon House out there, and they've been targeting this time, as you said. They go to Anquan Bolden. They've been working him over pretty good with Michael Crabtree, and an excellent route by Anquan Bolden. So right now you look at it, and you know, Colin Kaepernick has played in 30-degree temperature, but here we are today, and he's throwing the ball pretty well.
On first down, it's Gore, and he's going to lunge inside the 30. You could see, though, on that route by Bolden, all the moves that were going on. It starts with a protection, and you touched on it. This offensive line is so big, so good, and they have had the ability of staying healthy for the most part since Jim Harbaugh took over now in his 3rd season.
Yeah, you know, usually you get guys that big, they're not as athletic. And these guys have size, they have strength, and they have the ability to run. And those are rare combinations for offensive linemen.
3 tight ends in the game for the 49ers. This one for one of them is picked. Vernon Davis, the intended target. It's Tramon Williams. What a run he's on. And he lowers his shoulder. He banged into Kaepernick at the end of the play, and an 18-yard return as the Packers get exactly what they needed. Kaepernick floated it for Vernon Davis. 38. Tramon Williams jumps in front. And the first turnover of the day. Kaepernick gets stung at the end of it on top of it. 49ers have moved it, but they've also now committed the game's first turnover. They've advanced to the Green Bay 4, the 7, the 29. And Kaepernick was in on the tackle after he threw the pick to Tramon Williams. We'll show you what Tramon Williams did to come up with a football after this first play. Hand off to Lacy. Danny Lacy out to the 34, back to the pick.
You can see Tramon Williams there in zone coverage, and he's going to carry Anquan Bolden, the wide receiver, to his side. And then as he reads the quarterback, he sees him coming back to Vernon Davis, and he breaks on it, makes a nice play on the ball. Colin Kaepernick just did not see him coming back into that play. Tramon Williams, who had more sacks and interceptions not too long ago, makes another big play.
Toss to Eddie Lacy, spins away from the tackle. Justin Smith waiting for him. He went around Aldon Smith, a gain of 2 on that toss from Aaron Rodgers. Now 3rd down coming up. Possessions have been 3 and outs, and they're in danger of that again. Rodgers finds Kuhn for the first down. Their first down of the game, and now the Packers will hurry up.
It's really an outstanding job by Aaron Rodgers using the hard count. 49ers hanging in there, not jumping. But Rodgers showing patience, nothing down the field, and recognizing if I come underneath to Kuhn, there's a good chance that he can pick up the first down. And boy, they needed one there.
First completion of the game comes in the second quarter for Rodgers. There's his second. Pass caught. James Jones. Jones gets 8.
This is what Mike McCarthy had envisioned when this game began, that they could start making some plays, get into the no huddle. Even though they were finally able to get to the no huddle with Matt Flynn, it wasn't the way that they run it with Aaron Rodgers. So they feel that they're just now beginning to hit their stride again offensively.
On 2nd and 2, it's Lacy for the first down. Dante Whitner on the tackle, and a little life around here for the Packer offense.
The other thing that the Packers have been able to do is they've been able to get their nickel defense on the field for the 49ers. That removes one more big guy from the playing field, and then they like being able to run the ball against those looks.
Fake it to Lacy. Rodgers is protected. The pass caught. That's a long throw for Aaron Rodgers, and he gets it to Jordy Nelson. Good for 7.
That just shows you the arm strength that Aaron Rodgers has in being able to, drive that ball without really much of a step all the way to the sideline in perfect ball location.
5-2 Mike. Here comes.
On 2nd and 3, it's Lacy. Spins for the first down. Eric Reid, the rookie safety, in on the tackle.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier as far as the sprained ankle of Eddie Lacy and where he's at right now, and they feel that it's as healthy as it's been since he injured it 3.5 weeks ago. You can believe that as this game moves along, he's going to continue to chip away at this defense.
On first down, Rodgers steps up, drops it off. Pass caught by Corliss, and he stumbles inside the 25 to the 24.
You mentioned Bakhtiari. When he made his first NFL start, this is who he faced. Aldon Smith, one of the elite pass rushers in football, doing a pretty good job. Once again in this game, Aaron Rodgers helps him out by stepping up. If he's able to get this ball to Andrew Corliss on the run, there's a lot of field out in front of him.
2nd and 2. Lacy is going to fight for the first down. And he ran right through Navarro Bowman, who was just named as an all-pro linebacker for San Francisco.
Yeah, these runs that they're accumulating right now, they're just body blows. You just continually hit the body, with Eddie Lacy, and you hope that when you get into the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, they start to pay more dividends.
Four first downs on this drive. Rodgers finds Nelson, and Jordy Nelson thrown to the ground by Terrell Brown, a gain of 8.
Now, we talked about the slants for the Green Bay Packers, and the 49ers, really working at taking them away. He wants to go to his right. The corner plays inside technique, takes it away, but as he works back, because there wasn't pressure, he's able to find the open receiver.
They've been running it in this spot. 2nd down and 2. The last 2 times they've faced it.
Beta, ready.
And they toss to Lacy, running left. Gets the edge. First down inside the 10.
David Bakhtiari, he's able to block the edge on Aldon Smith, which really allows Eddie Lacy to then get outside on the corner. Here's Jordy Nelson, and couldn't be more impressed with this guy's game. He was healthy for the first time this year, put up career numbers. His best game of the season last week against the Bears in a must-win game, doing some of the dirty work, blocking in the run game.
Hey, Jerry! Same guy!
First and goal from the 9. Rodgers out to his right. Pass is incomplete for James Jones. And they let the Green Bay defensive backs get hands on receivers, and now they're letting the 49ers play that way as well.
Yeah, they are. You know, at least they're consistent, right? I mean, we've seen it with Devon House here in this first half. This time, Tremaine Brock, he's able to get his hands on him as well, and I think that's the way it should be in a game like this.
Second and goal. Here's Lacy. Not a lot of room. Got to the 5 where it'll be third and goal. Ahmad Brooks there to make the stop. Lacy will check out. John Kuhn will check in. Third and goal from the 5. Rodgers throws for a touchdown. Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson's going to run a pivot route. You're going to see the move that he makes. He bodies him up, and Aaron Rodgers is able to put it on him as he escapes the pocket. It's an outstanding job by the Packers, and the 49ers had dominated this first half, had to come away with field goals. Packers finally get an offensive possession down the field, and they get the touchdown.
And take the lead. 14-play drive. It was given to the Packers on the work by Tramon Williams. And then Aaron Rodgers took care of the rest. 7-6. Pack on top. Aaron Rodgers was 6 for 7 on that drive. Jordy Nelson, the only skill position player to start all 16 games this season for Green Bay, has the first Packer points of the day. Michael James on the return. Out across the 30. A 29-yard return. Nelson with the leap. And the frustration for the 49ers, now down 1. Well, there's a little bit of color for you from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where it is cold. Here at Lambeau, the Packers now on top by 1. Under 6 to go, first half. Handoff to Gore. And Gore out to the 35, maybe just across it. Back to the touchdown for Nelson.
Yeah, Nate, take another look at this route. Really a good route, and he had separation on Tremaine Brock, but Tremaine looked like he was going to make a play on this because the ball was just a tad behind Jordy Nelson, but not able to get the hand there and cap off a really nice drive there by the Green Bay Packers to take a 1-point lead.
Kind of dinked and dunked their way down the field. Biggest gain on that 14-play drive, just 9 yards. No big plays. Big third down conversion on the pass to John Kuhn. Now 2nd and 7, pass caught. And the first down picked up by Vernon Davis. A gain of 10. Tonight at midnight, head over to America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1, to catch on FS Live, the sports news and highlight show that everyone is talking about. FS Live tonight at midnight on America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1. 2 plays and a first down for San Francisco. Kaepernick steps up, going to run. And going to do his thing against Green Bay again. Kaepernick is down inside the 15. Colin Kaepernick, who ran for a quarterback playoff record of 81 against Green Bay. Last divisional playoff carries for 42.
Well, Vernon Davis, he was wide open in the middle of the field. The Packers completely turn him loose, but Colin Kaepernick, he sees a seam and he takes it, and we know how dangerous he is once he gets out in the open field. He probably picks up more yardage by running than they would have gotten had he have thrown it to the open Davis in the middle.
42 yards for Kaepernick, who tosses to Hunter running right. Trying to rip the ball out to no avail. A gain of 3. Devon House was trying to pull it out.
Well, you take a look at it from Colin Kaepernick's perspective as Vernon Davis comes off the field, or comes up the field, and then Frank Gore recognizes he's running and he makes a block that springs him. But right now this is an important drive for the 49ers. They've gotten down here a few times, have not been able to come away with a touchdown. The one drive by Green Bay allows them to take the lead. They'll be awfully frustrated to finish this half if they don't come away with more than 3 points.
Three tight ends in the game for San Francisco. It's Gore, and Gore is going to go in for the touchdown. San Francisco finally breaks through. A 10-yard touchdown run by Frank Gore to put the 49ers back on top.
Well, the read option look right there holds Andy Malumba just enough to allow Kaepernick to hand it to Frank Gore and create the running lane inside. That's a great job of answering the touchdown by the Packers, the big run by Kaepernick, finishing it off with Frank Gore for the touchdown.
42-yard run, set it up. A season long for Kaepernick. And it's a 6-point game. Here's the run by Kaepernick. Long strider. He can fly. He got him down there. Gore got him in. 13-7. Plenty cold as we give you a then and now. Look back at December 31st, 1967 Ice Bowl, and what we're dealing with here today was minus 13 back in 1967, 4 degrees. We started at 5 degrees. The wind has stayed relatively calm, and now San Francisco has their 6-point lead back with under 3 to play in the opening half. Cobb from inside the 5. Out to the 24. 23-yard return by Cobb. This Friday, get ready for the new Fox comedy Enlisted, about 3 brothers trying to get this platoon in shape to be the best they can be. Enlisted premieres this Friday on Fox. Pam Oliver is in an episode of Enlisted. She's down on the sideline, the Green Bay side. Aaron Andrews working the 49er side on this cold day at Lambeau. It's a first down for Aaron Rodgers, starting at the 24.
Press. Yeah. And then 1 thing.
Like 3?
Yeah, no, 2.
Yeah, 2, 3, 3, 19 up.
Hand off to Lacy. Whitner made the hit. Lacy stayed upright and picked up 3.
That's a pretty good matchup there with with Eddie Lacy. Dante Whitner, he comes up to make the hit, doesn't get him wrapped up. Like two Rams right there. Dante Whitner, he's about as physical a safety as there is in football.
Approaching the 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 7. Rodgers out to his left. Going to take off and slide with a 1st down. As we will have the clock stopped at 2:01. A gain of 9 and a 1st down. Now they're going to wind it, and we're at the 2-minute warning. Let's go back to that collision. Dante Whitner, Eddie Lacy. The 1st down run followed by Rodgers. 1st down Green Bay, down 6. A 1st down for the Packers at their own 36. 3 timeouts left, 2 minutes left. Gonna throw a flag, free play coming. Rodgers wants to air it out. He gets picked. There's a flag down. It's Eric Reed. Reed is going to be dragged down shy of the 40 by Lang, but it was Ahmad Brooks who came across early. Let's go back and look at the start of the play.
Offside, defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
They get Ahmad Brooks into the neutral zone, and the flag comes out. Aaron Rodgers knows that he has a free play. He takes a shot, nothing to lose, so good idea on his part. The other thing is Packers had to be pretty excited. Both Aldon Smith and Justin Smith were on the sidelines for that play.
That's the first San Francisco penalty of this ball game. And now at the 41.
This time they bring Aldon back in. Justin forced to go on the sidelines.
Play action. Rodgers runs. It's got Nelson, and Nelson is down inside the 40. A fastball from Aaron Rodgers, good for 20.
This is that route that I was talking about that they're so good at. Aaron Rodgers has great anticipation, knows where Jordy Nelson's going to be. Nelson goes down and makes the catch, and a lot of times Aaron Rodgers has the ability to check to that route. They call it the B line. They hit it again to Nelson.
Here's Lacy out of the backfield. Well played by San Francisco. We'll see if Green Bay wants to use a timeout or let the clock wind, and timeout taken here after a gain of 3. What is coming up at halftime here on Fox? Here's Kurt and the guys.
Hey, Joe, coming up on the Visa halftime show, we'll have analysis of the 49er Packer game. As you know, they're trying to get right here in New York for Super Bowl 48 on Fox.
Guys, this isn't New York. It's a movie set. Come on. We got to get back for halftime. We'll see you in the Visa halftime.
That is taking advantage of your surroundings out on the Fox lot in L.A.
It looks like it's awfully nice out there on the set in Los Angeles.
There's the day for Aaron Rodgers, who completed that last one to Eddie Lacy, who has carried it 12 times for 40 yards. There's Nelson, who has the only touchdown and the only points for Green Bay so far. Willis on the sideline on 2nd and 8. James Starks in the backfield. 319! Rodgers pulls it down and now finds Starks for the 1st down. Looked like he wanted to air it out. Pulled it down, out, and gets 13 yards.
That's great control by Aaron Rodgers, pulling this one back. He wanted to go to Boykin on the deep post. Dante Whitner, he takes it away, and so Rodgers pulls it down. He comes back to James Starks. Had he have turned it loose, good chance that ball is intercepted. Not easy to do. Reminds me a little bit you see from Tiger Woods from time to time when a photographer snaps his shutter.
A minute left.
Hey, Jerry, quick Jerry, quick Jerry, quick Jerry. Liz? Hey, Liz.
And now having to spend a timeout with the clock stopped as the play clock was down to 1. The story is way too long and way too convoluted. But there was a chance there, Captain Cowboy, that you were almost a Green Bay Packer at one point.
Yep, there sure was. And then the Cowboys, they got the first pick, and I went to Dallas. And then a couple years later, number 4, Brett Favre, came here to Green Bay. So I didn't know anything about grip pressure when I was coming out of college. I wouldn't have fared real well in these conditions.
Yeah, it was Manbridge who ended up here with the Green Bay Packers, and you went to Dallas. You end up in the Hall of Fame with 3 Super Bowl rings. And well, Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl ring. He was the MVP of Super Bowl 45. And as we watch him get into a groove here, after 3 straight 3-and-outs to start his day, it took him until the second half to get warmed up last week at Chicago, and then he did his thing. He's got a first down at the 24. Rodgers, Nelson. Nelson is going to be marked down at the 19, a gain of 5. Clock will wind. 1 timeout left.
Well, Bakhtiari, he gets caught John with Aldon Smith. They're trying to get him back to the line of scrimmage so they can get this ball snapped.
See if having to use that timeout with the play clock expiring with the clock stopped. We'll come back and haunt Green Bay. 2nd and 4. Pass is caught. That's Nelson. Flag is down, and Nelson is down to the 5, but a flag is down. Back in the area where Rodgers let it go.
Illegal hands to the face mask. Offense, number 69. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
They get Bakhtiari.
That's the one thing that has really hurt him here in this rookie season. He's been penalized more than any other lineman for the Green Bay Packers. You see, those two have been going at it. They were going at it prior to this play. Both guys grabbing the face mask. They get Bakhtiari, and that eliminates what would have been an awfully good gain for the Packers.
Yeah, the pass was complete to Nelson. Would have been a 1st and goal at the 5. Instead, it's 27 seconds remaining, 2nd and 14. The ball back just inside the 29. Rodgers has Jones. James Jones stays in bounds. And they're going to get up to the line and stop the clock. But remember, it's now 3rd down. So they're going to run a play. Rodgers, incomplete. And with 4 seconds left, it's 4th down, and the field goal unit will come on for Green Bay.
Well, and that's where that second timeout that they had to burn for whatever reason, really cost them, because they would have been able to burn the timeout after this catch by James Jones. Really good route on his part, good ball location, but because it was low, he was unable to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Now a 34-yard try by Crosby, who's had a great year. A bounce back here from Mason Crosby. And a timeout will be taken by San Francisco. Their final timeout of the half.
I thought after the catch, Joe, by James Jones, they were hoping that they could get the first down, preserve their timeout, but probably would have been better served had they have called the timeout right away and then try to figure out exactly what they wanted to do and if they wanted to be able to take a shot into the end zone.
Instead, they got up to the line of scrimmage, and as you said, because it was 3rd down, they couldn't just clock it. And so they end up having to attempt what will be a 34-yard try by Mason Crosby to close this to a 3-point game at the half. Crosby hit on 89% of his field goal attempts during the regular season. Good snap, good hold, the kick is good. And it's a 13-10 game at the half at Lambeau Field. A good one. At the end of Wild Card Weekend. Kurt and the guys coming up from the studio after this from your local Fox station.
It's all mental. If you tell yourself it's cold, it's going to be cold.
Stay loose, stay warm.
No, there's no tricks.
Brother's not going to stop us today.
We just built to play football.
Set to start the second half of this wild card weekend matchup between San Francisco and Green Bay. 49ers leading by 3. Follow your favorite team all through the playoffs. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And so now we welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That's Troy Aikman. All the talk about the weather. And it was 5 degrees at the start, got down to 4 degrees last time we checked it. In your opinion, has the weather affected the play on the field so far?
No, I don't think that it has. I know a real concern was the field and how it would hold up. It seems to have held up well. I think the players did a nice job figuring out what cleats to wear in the spikes, and so it's holding up. And then as far as the conditions in terms of the temperature, they're throwing the ball like we thought that they would. The 49ers have been really good moving the football. 4 possessions in that first half. They've scored on 3 of them, the 1 interception. But we saw the Packers start to get it going offensively with Aaron Rodgers there in that second quarter, too.
Yeah, Rodgers did not have a completion in the first quarter of play. So that big run by Kaepernick. All 3 winners this weekend trailed at halftime. And the winner earlier today, the San Diego Chargers, they won in Cincinnati. Last night it was New Orleans winning at Philadelphia. And then in that crazy game yesterday afternoon, Indianapolis coming back to beat Kansas City. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on Fox. How about that Colt comeback?
That was something. You know, Andrew Luck, he was terrific. It reminded me of a game I saw him play against SC. Threw an interception at a critical moment, comes right back, takes the team down. They win the game and got off to a tough start and a big win. First playoff win for him, first of many.
Crosby will kick it away. The 49ers will start this half on offense. It's LaMichael James. James can't get to the 20. Jared Boykin downfield to make the stop. He was not alone. Down to the field, and Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, look for a heavy dose of the run from the Green Bay Packers. Mike McCarthy felt like the run is what helped them get some momentum going after those 3 and outs. I asked him if he was concerned about the read option after Colin Kaepernick had that long run. He said, no, not really. He feels his defense can handle it, but he wants to get more stops from that side of the ball. Back to you.
All right, Pam. You know, Troy, that read option that was so prevalent in the attack last year with Kaepernick when he took over midway through the season, we didn't see that a lot this year.
No, and didn't see it much last year when he took over as the starter, you know, and then they broke it out in the divisional game, which is why it created so many problems for this Packers defense.
How about the first play from scrimmage? Colin Kaepernick has to use a timeout.
Well, that's unbelievable. Come out here to start the second half, and you have to burn a timeout before you even run one play.
Wow. In a 3-point game, you look at the stats. Time of possession about even. Red zone trips. 1 for 3 in the red zone, getting it into the end zone with the 49ers. In the red zone, Mike McCarthy's team came away with 10 points, a touchdown and a field goal. Now we start from the 18. Kaepernick, incomplete for Crabtree. Let's go back to the confusion that was going on when Kaepernick had to use a timeout.
They're trying to get guys lined up, and they can't do it. And the play clock's starting to wind down, and so burns a timeout. And you know, that could prove costly in a game like this. You have plenty of time in the locker room to talk about what you're going to come out and run. There's really no excuse for that.
Kaepernick pumps it once, now floats it for Bolden too far. And it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, you look at it now. Big third down here for the Green Bay Packers for a 49er offense that, as we talked about, moved the ball in the first half. To come out and potentially force a 3-and-out would be big.
Third down and 10. Kaepernick dragged to the ground. Mike Daniels.
That's a great job by Mike Daniels rushing from the inside. Jonathan Goodwin is the one that he's working against, and he's able to get just enough of the jersey there to pull Colin Kaepernick down. And there were a couple Packers out there, but I'm not sure in the open field they would have been able to make the stop before he picks up the first down. It's a great job to start this second half for the Packers defense.
Second time Kaepernick's been sacked in this game. Daniels gets it. First time we've seen Andy Lee. It's a bad one. And will settle just inside the Green Bay 45. Good starting field position for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay Packers were 6-2 when Aaron Rodgers completed all game this season. Remember that stretch, the 7 starts that Aaron Rodgers missed, and it was a combination of Seneca Wallace and Scott Tolzien and Matt Flynn. Flynn won 2 big ball games to at least get them in a spot where they could get in with a win last week at Chicago.
Yeah, Matt Flynn, you know, the job that he did in bringing the team back, especially that comeback victory there in Dallas, was huge.
Best starting field position for the Packers. And they start with a throw to Lacy. Eddie Lacy is out near the 48 of game 3.
Well, what we've seen, Joe, from the Packers is a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, and Vic Fangio has elected to defense that with his nickel defense, and so that removes one of the big guys. And Mike McCarthy likes those matchups, both running the football, as he said to Pam Oliver, and then what he has within the passing game.
Beta. Ready.
Toss to Lacy running right. Well played up front. Smith gets the tackle in the end. First guy there was Ahmad Brooks, a loss of 1. Third down coming up for the Packers.
Justin Smith, I mean, I love watching that guy play, and he is just all over the place. You know, he takes no plays off. They call him country. I think it's because he's country strong. I mean, this guy is amazing.
Over a year removed from surgery on his left tricep. Third down and 8. Rodgers steps up. Gonna go for the big one. Down the middle. Pass broken up. James Jones was the target. And Parrish Cox, who was added back to this roster recently, is there defending for San Francisco with Whitner.
Yeah, initially, Aaron Rodgers had a shot at James Jones. He got in behind Dante Whitner. Just, you know, he had to hold the ball a little bit. James Jones still coming back to it, had a chance to make a play on that ball, just unable to bring it in.
Aste hits it. Cox playing in place of the injured Carlos Rodgers, who's out with a bad hamstring. It's a 38-yard punt down to the 18. Nothing in the way of a return. 49ers get it right back up 3. It is a 13-10 game with San Francisco on top. Second possession of this second half. Wind chill at -12. Starting at the 18, Kaepernick steps up, takes off. And Kaepernick's going to slide with a first down. They'll mark him at the 34. Let's go down to Erin Andrews.
Joe, the 49ers defense in that last series played without Aldon Smith. He is questionable to return with cramps, and that's actually something that the 49ers are going to keep their eye on with this whole team out here. Even though it's cold, they are trying to make sure these players stay hydrated. Another thing they told me is they wanted a lot of these guys to get out of their wet clothes at halftime. Joe Staley told me no way and no sleeves for the second half.
Aaron, thanks. It's a first down and a carry by Gore, bouncing it out to the right side. Could not turn the corner. A gain of just 2. Morgan Burnett out there to make the stop.
Pretty good job overall on Frank Gore. Talked about how they were able to contain him in week 1, and Frank Gore last week struggled a little bit running the football in that game. They hoping that he'll be able to get going a little bit like he was able to on that playoff run last year. But so far, the Packers have held up pretty well against him.
Gore had 13 carries for 14 yards at Arizona in their win last Sunday. 2nd and 8. Kaepernick to the sideline for Crabtree. Makes the catch. Devon House just tripped him up. Knocked down at the 41-yard line, and it's 22 yards to Crabtree.
Colin Kaepernick, he gets to show off his arm here. He's on the opposite hash across the field, and that's a long throw, but he drives it, gets the ball into Crabtree's hands. It looked initially like Crabtree was going to be able to get away from Devon House. Got just enough of him to bring him to the ground. So first possession for each of these offenses, the defenses come out and stop them, and now the 49ers got him a good drive going.
That's Crabtree's first catch since the first drive. That one good for 22 yards. Delayed handoff Gore. And Gore gets a yard. Anytime a running back turns 30, which Gore has, and they start to slow down at the end of a season, people wonder if that's it. He's still running hard. Talking to offensive coordinator Greg Roman, he said we're going to mix the other 2 backs in, but they're still going to ride Frank Gore.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player, and Mike McCarthy's familiar with him as well. He coached him his rookie year when he was the offensive coordinator the one season. But every year they talk about trying to minimize the carries for Frank Gore, and he winds up being the workhorse each and every season.
On 2nd down, Kaepernick finds Dixon. And Dixon is going to be upended. They're going to give him an extra yard for a first down. Tramon Williams on the stop, a gain of 10.
Well, 4-man rush and just no pressure at all on Colin Kaepernick. He was able to sit back there, wanted to try to get the ball down the field. They play soft and comes underneath to Dixon. And Greg Roman, who's been talked about a lot here in the last couple years about being a head coach in one of these vacant jobs. Last year going to the Super Bowl probably hurt his opportunities, but we'll see if that's a factor this year.
Here's Patton as they flip it to Patton. There is nowhere to go. A loss of a yard. The first guy there was Josh Boyd. Richardson was in on the play, and now Malumba is slow to get up, and it's been one linebacker after another. It's been dealing with injuries since the start of the year for Green Bay. So they'll look at Andy Malumba, the rookie free agent out of Eastern Michigan, on this cold night at Lambeau Field. Take a timeout. 2nd down when we come back. They're checking the right leg of Andy Malumba, who popped up and got off the field pretty well. Now 2nd down and 11. Kaepernick pass is caught, and that's Garrett Selleck. Let's go back to the injury to Andy Malumba.
And Joe Staley, he goes down trying to cut him. He got the left leg there of Malumba. Staley, of course, trying to get him on the ground because of the reverse, and that's where the injury occurred. But as you said, he popped up, got over the sideline, and getting checked out, but looks like he might be able to return.
Now 3rd down and 5. Second timeout taken by San Francisco. So we'll take a break. 3rd down and 5 yards to go when we come back. Vernon Davis has been shut down to this point. 3rd down and 5. Bolden starts this play in the backfield as Kaepernick is in trouble, and down he goes. It's Nick Perry, who's been battling a foot injury pretty much all season long, a loss of 8.
Well, Dom Capers does what he's known for, and that's bringing some pressure. He gets safeties off the edge. It's Nick Perry who's able to come up the middle, and a big-time stop there by Green Bay. San Francisco, who had a heck of a drive going, they're on 3rd down and get the sack. It's an outstanding job, and you can tell Jim Harbaugh knows what that meant. Now they got a punt. Not come away with any points on this drive.
Play clock is about to expire again. This gives Andy Lee more room. The ball is basically at the 34. It'll be about a 52-yard try from here, but they'll pass on that. And here's why they had to use their 2nd timeout.
Yeah, you see Colin Kaepernick, he's trying to get Anquan Bolden in motion, and Bolden thought that one of the other receivers wasn't lined up properly, and so nevertheless they burned their 2nd timeout. They opened up this half with a timeout. They have 1 left, and we've still got over 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
The sack by Perry was good for a loss of 8, and that knocks San Francisco out of field goal range. So Andy Lee will punt. Nose of the football down, end over end. Micah Hyde, the rookie, with a fair catch. And the Packers will have it at their own 16, down by 3. There's a look inside our production truck where it's a balmy 65, wind chill of 63. And outside it's down to 3. And the wind chill is at -12. Feel sorry for those guys down there?
I do.
4 guys, 4 guys, 4 guys. Yeah.
Starting from the 16.
319. 319.
Down by 3. Rodgers starts. I was talking about the production truck, not the players. I know you feel sorry.
Yeah.
Playing on a, if you had to play on a day like this.
Hey, I feel sorry for you, Joe. I mean, hey, you know, you look at this game right now, Joe, one of the things that the 49ers have really done a nice job of is Aldon Smith is back in the game, is they have not given up the big play. You know, think back to the last 2 games of the season. The 49ers really gave up a lot of big plays in the passing game. They have not done that here with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
On 2nd down and 4 more for Starks, and he's got a 1st down. Picks up 5. Ahmad Brooks on the tackle.
Pretty nice for this Packers offense when you've got Eddie Lacy, and then when you rest him, you're able to bring in James Starks, who has been really good this year, and especially the last couple of weeks. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry the last 2 games. So Mike McCarthy has a lot of confidence in him, and why wouldn't he?
Also had a very balanced play selection to this point. Play action now. Rodgers is going to be sacked by Smith. Aldon Smith got him. Rodgers could not turn it loose, and the sack good for a loss of 7.
I think that's more coverage sack than anything else. I thought Bakhtiari did a pretty good job. Aaron buying some time, just trying to figure out exactly where he wanted to go with the ball. Initially, it looked like he was trying to go deep to Boykin, but then when he comes off of it to find Nelson, Aldon Smith was in his face.
For Smith, now a sack and a half in this game. Marked it back at the 19-yard line. 2nd and 18. Rodgers is going to be swallowed up again. Back-to-back sacks for this 49er defense. It's Ahmad Brooks in there this time. A loss of 4.
They just collapsed the pocket. Here's Ahmad Brooks. You see that right now they're just doing a good job, a little bit like what the 49ers were able to do to start this game, that, you know, there's enough time for the ball to come out. Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out of his hands quicker just about anybody in the game, but just hadn't been able to find anybody on these last 2 throws.
4 sacks today for this 49er defense. This drive started at the 16. The ball is at the 14. Just got the play away as Rodgers surveys and now airs it out. Nelson downfield, pass broken up. And a good play is made by the corner Terrell Brown.
A really good play by Brown because the 49ers played a prevent defense. They just came with a 3-man rush, and when Rodgers got outside the pocket, he had a chance one-on-one with Jordy Nelson and Terrell Brown, and Terrell Brown goes up and makes a play. Contact there, but as we've seen, these officials, they've let them go.
And so now the punt from Mastay, the good work, and the back-to-back sacks by San Francisco. Helping with field position as a fair catch is called for on the San Francisco side of midfield by LaMichael James. 37-yard punt, nothing on the return. Rodgers thought he had a big one to Nelson. Broken up. 49ers have it up 3. Offensive line, a lot to talk about on the Green Bay sideline is they've allowed 4 sacks. This good San Francisco defense, they just keep coming at you. 49ers offensively are about to go into Green Bay territory for the 6th time in 7 drives. They only need 2 yards to do it. That skips in. Crabtree, the intended target, incomplete, down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, a third Packers defensive player has suffered a knee injury. Linebacker Andy Malumba, he is questionable with a knee injury. Remember quarterback Sam Shields and linebacker Mike Neal with the knee injury in the first half. Well, they are officially out for the game. Back to you.
All right, so even thinner ranks defensively. Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, has been dealing with that all year. Kendall Hunter, left side. He is going to try and fight his way to midfield. Daniels made the play, a gain of just 1. 3rd down coming up.
Well, these guys in the middle, we talked about it coming in, Joe, that they really had their work cut out for them here today because of the running game of the 49ers and Frank Gore and this offensive line. And these guys up front have really held up well. They've been able to get penetration in the backfield. They've held their ground in the middle. Dom Capers has to be proud of the job that they have done, as well as these others. I mean, they're short-handed, and yet they've given up yards, but they've tightened up when they've had to. They've really played well.
Andy Malumba back in there for Green Bay on 3rd and 9. Kaepernick has Crabtree, and Crabtree is going to be short of 1st down yardage. He takes it just inside the 45, a gain of 5, but Jarrett Bush was there to make the stop.
Yeah, how about that stop? I mean, they give the ball to the 49ers at midfield, and the 49ers can't do anything with it. So the Packers, because of the way that they've been able to tighten up down in there, force 2 field goals, they give up the 1 touchdown, a turnover. They stop them here. They've been able to keep this Packers offense in the ball game.
3rd straight punt for Andy Lee. He did not punt the ball in the first half. Hyde waiting. Lets it go over his head, and it will get into the end zone. Good decision by the rookie Micah Hyde. And it took a Green Bay bounce into the end zone. Don't miss Bruno Mars performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show on February 2nd. Check out exclusive content on Pepsi.com and get hyped for halftime.
You know, Joe, we knew coming into this game what the 49ers had defensively, and it was going to be tough at times for this Packers offense, but just to reiterate, the Packers defensively have been really good. Pam pointed out the guys who are out of this game right now, and then in addition to that, as we know, Clay Matthews, their best defensive player. So all season long, Dom Capers has had to try to find a way, and he's done a really nice job against a 49er offense that's had a lot of success against them in previous matchups.
Just get it away and hand off to Lacy. A nice gain on 1st down of 7. Bowman on the tackle.
Well, Mike McCarthy has talked about it over the years. He talked about it more in previous years when he didn't have a great running back like Eddie Lacy, about how important the rushing attempts were, more important than yards per carry.
More from Lacy. Bounces it. First down and more. Out across the 35.
Whoa. This is what you call finishing a run here. Eddie Lacy finishes off this run. Dante Whitner, these two have been going at it throughout this game. He comes up as he bounces around. Here comes Whitner, 31, and Lacy just lays him out. That's a great job of finishing a run. And what I was saying is those body blows we talked about there in that first half, this is when they start to pay dividends, and Mike McCarthy knows it.
Eddie Lacy left side. And another nice gain on first down. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now. We talked about it last week. Aaron Rodgers saying he didn't see it at first with Eddie Lacy, but we, meaning the Packers, hit the jackpot with this outstanding rookie.
Should have heard John Kuhn talk about him. I mean, he absolutely loves this guy, and they all do now. Not that they didn't early, but he has had one great rookie year.
Blitz coming. Lacy again. Eddie Lacy running hard. Depends on the spot. He just does not go down after the initial contact.
Yeah, and that's what Aaron Rodgers talked about. They're going to measure this, and it looks like he picked up the first down. Aaron Rodgers, in visiting with him, compared Eddie Lacy to Marshawn Lynch. Aaron played with Marshawn Lynch at Cal. And he said, and we've seen it from Marshawn Lynch at Seattle, he just doesn't go down. Sometimes you take an inordinate amount of hits. Because of that, he says, sometimes you just want to say to Eddie Lacy, hey, just get on the ground. It's just not in his makeup.
He just does not give up. He'd never seen snow before being drafted in the second round by the Green Bay Packers. That's about as close as it can get. First down, says Unhoppula.
Bring out the magnifying glass.
As you see Eddie Lacy realize that his year started out in San Francisco with the Packers. He fumbled on his 5th carry. His head coach, Mike McCarthy, called it a horrendous start. Then he suffered a concussion against the Washington Redskins in week 2. He missed the game at Cincinnati, but since October rolled around, he is number 2 in the entire NFL in rushing yards to LaShawn McCoy. Now it starts in the backfield. Here's Nelson out of the edge. Jordy Nelson into San Francisco territory, good for 6.
Well, we heard Mike McCarthy at halftime say that the running game is really kind of what got them going there in that second quarter, and we've seen that here on this drive. They struggled coming out to start this second half, but it's been the running of Eddie Lacy on this possession that has started to open some things up and allow them to move the football.
So far this drive, 4 Lacy runs for 26 yards. Now starts. Lowers his shoulder inside the 40. And the third quarter will come to an end with that. Eric Reed on the tackle. A carry of 10 yards by James Starks. And that is the longest run for Green Bay today. Another good game. And this wild card weekend, 3 points. That's a lead for the 49ers. Into the 4th. Back after this from your local Fox station. Aerial coverage is provided by Nationwide Insurance. Well, how's this thing going to end? The winner of this game travels to Carolina to take on the Panthers, the number 2 seed, on Sunday. First down, Green Bay down by 3. Play action. Rodgers. He throws incomplete for James Jones.
Well, they go misdirection, and away from Aldon Smith, and Aaron Rodgers is able to get outside one-on-one, and normally the Packers were able to take advantage of that matchup to James Jones, but an outstanding job by Tremaine Brock, and the 49ers just continue to not give up the big play in the passing game.
Longest pass completed by Rodgers in this game is 19 yards. Toss to Starks, cuts back. Nice run. Good tackle made by Parrish Cox, who started the year in San Francisco with the 49ers, was cut November 12th, went to Seattle, was cut last Friday. Now he's back with the 49ers, and it's been Cox playing in this game instead of Eric Wright in place of the injured Carlos Rogers.
Yeah, Eric Wright was the guy who at least was being reported would be the nickel corner playing the slot for Carlos Rogers, a very important position against this Packers defense. Instead, as you said, it's been Parrish Cox, and he's done a nice job because the slot receiver has not been much of a factor.
Third down and 4. It's Starks, and he won't get it. They had Aldon Smith across the line had the ball been snapped on the hard count by Aaron Rodgers, but they didn't snap it, and now it's 4th down. 5-yard penalty would have given Green Bay a first down. Instead, they're going to go for it on 4th.
Well, Ray McDonald, he absorbs the double team, holds the point, and he's the guy really who is responsible for not allowing them to pick that up.
4th down and 2 as they pass on a 48-yard field goal try. Rodgers is going to get away. Throw.
Smith, and Aaron Rodgers is able to escape that. How, I don't know, but he keeps the play alive, and
that's unbelievable.
That's an amazing job by Aaron Rodgers, and then being able to complete this pass down the field. He had Kuhn initially for the first down right over the ball. He doesn't get it to him. Big play.
And a conversion on 4th and 2, and again it's Cobb. Toss to Lacy running left. Play gets strung out. Lacy is going to get down to the 1. Glenn Dorsey on the stop. Remember last week, Troy, the Packers converted 3 4th downs on that game-winning drive at Chicago. The last play coming to Randall Cobb, and now this, a 4th and 2 conversion to Cobb to set up 1st and goal. Bakhtiari gets looked at, slow to get up. Take a break, come back. 2nd and goal. We return. Our crew and our camera operators doing a great job in this cold. 3 degrees at last check. Let's go back and see what happened to Bakhtiari.
He took a knee, it looked like, by Patrick Willis. That can be dangerous. Certainly got staggered on that play. That was a great run by Eddie Lacy, taking what could have been a lost yards. He picks up 3 yards on the run.
Now Marshall Newhouse takes over at left tackle. He's got the tight end to his left, Corliss. Hand off to Cohn for the touchdown.
That's about the only thing he's done wrong in a while. You're going to see John Kuhn right here. They call it the fullback belly. He gets right in behind Josh Sitton, center Evan Dietrich Smith. And John Kuhn doesn't get a lot of opportunities to carry the ball. He makes this one count. You heard the crowd yell Kuhn, and we talked to him the other day. He loves when that happens, an appreciation for the blue-collar worker. And great drive, great touchdown.
Only his 2nd touchdown all season long. Last week, it was him throwing a block to Spring Rodgers, who found Randall Cobb for the winning points. And now it's Rodgers to Cobb on 4th and 2 to set it up. Green Bay back on top. It was a lot of Eddie Lacy and James Starks on that drive. A big play at the bottom of that graphic. 26-yarder to Randall Cobb on 4th and 2. His first catch And the Packers' longest play of the day. John Kuhn took it in, and now Crosby kicks it away. Taking it out is LaMichael James. A nice return. Makes a move, and it's Crosby who made the tackle, the kicker. We go back to the big play to Randall Cobb.
Well, first of all, as we pointed out, a great job by Aaron Rodgers getting out of this, but Randall Cobb, he makes an adjustment on the route once he sees that Aaron Rodgers is in trouble, just like he did last week against the Chicago Bears. So two guys on the same page, and Ray McDonald was held by Evan Dietrich Smith. The officials didn't see it. Here's the touchdown to John Kuhn, and tell you, these types of fullbacks around the league are rare, but they are not underappreciated within an organization. I had a guy in Daryl Johnson. These guys do so much that you don't see. Great job by John Kuhn.
Here's Gore, a nice run. Frank Gore starts this drive after a 37-yard return on the kickoff by LaMichael James, and Gore is good for 6, and now Bakhtiari is going to go in and get looked at.
And you know, anytime you see the knee to the head, that can be dangerous, but at least he's going off on his own, running in to get checked. Hope everything's okay.
2nd and 4. Play action from Kaepernick down the middle of the field for Davis. It's broken up. Play made by Devon House. And we've said his name a lot after the injury to Sam Shields.
But Devon House is able to make up some ground on this ball when it's in the air, because Vernon Davis, there's nothing out in front of him. Colin Kaepernick just not able to get enough on it to get it out there and let Davis run. Davis is probably the fastest guy on the field, but Devon House is able to get there, turns and makes a play on the ball at the last minute. It's a good job.
Now 3rd down and 4. Kaepernick will use his legs and pick it up and more. Kaepernick hops out of bounds inside the 35. They'll mark him at the 33, and it's a carry of 23 yards.
That's what happens when you're in man coverage, and then Bolden, who's trying to get open, he recognizes that Kaepernick's on the move, and he's able to keep Devon House then from being able to make a play on this. But you see everybody, all the defenders with their backs to the line of scrimmage. Somebody's trying to come off then and make a play, and a big gain by the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, big one on 3rd and 4, down by 4. 87 yards on the ground for Kaepernick. He's going to float it. Penalty flag flies as Crabtree tried to make the catch. But the flag was in the area of the coverage by Devon House.
But I think they got Devon House this time as Crabtree was trying to come out of that route. You know, once the quarterback's in trouble, we saw it from Randall Cobb. This time, Crabtree's trying to do the same thing.
Pass is thrown, holding defense number 31. The 5-yard penalty from the previous spot for an automatic 1st down.
I think the hold came before that. Now Devon House down there already without Sam Shields.
House took his spot. We'll take another look at it. The pass was incomplete. You can see the grab of the shirt right there. They throw a flag. Jim Harbaugh had been looking for a flag earlier. The first 2 possessions on Devon House, didn't get it. Gets one here to bring up a 1st down at the Green Bay 28. Take a break. Injury timeout. House is up. We step aside. Not exactly the Ice Bowl when it was -13, or the Freezer Bowl, or the Ice Bowl 2, but it's creeping closer to 0, 2 degrees. Feels like 13 below with the wind chill. 1st down for San Francisco, the Green Bay 28. Down 4. Kaepernick. Davis. Touchdown. Vernon Davis with a spinning catch and into the end zone. as San Francisco goes back on top. A 28-yard catch for Vernon Davis, who'd been, for the most part, Troy, held in check this entire game.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers, they want to give some help to the outside, so it opens up the middle of the field. Vernon Davis on the seam route. It forces A.J. Hawk, then a linebacker, to try to run with him. Advantage 49ers, and they're finally able to capitalize and get the ball to Vernon Davis.
Only his second catch of the game. 28 yards for the touchdown. It's the fourth lead change of this playoff game. And it's Vernon Davis, who tied his career high with 13 touchdown receptions during the regular season, putting San Francisco back on top.
Yeah, you see the attention that's paid to Anquan Boldin on the outside, and so you put the safety in a position that he has to try to determine which one he's going to shade to. He stays with Boldin. It opens it up then one-on-one with Vernon Davis on A.J. Hawk, and Jim Harbaugh knows how good that was. That's an excellent job and a good throw by Colin Kaepernick.
We were talking during the break about the Green Bay defense and how they've done such a good job this half. They had held San Francisco to 80 total yards this half prior to that throw. In the end, it's a 63-yard drive. 28-yarder to Vernon Davis. Kaepernick had a 24-yard run earlier, a 42-yard run in the first half. And Kaepernick is closing in on a 100-yard day on the ground back to the touchdown.
Yeah, there's another look at it, and A.J. Hawk was in a good position. You know, I mean, he realizes the speed of Vernon Davis and where they're vulnerable within that coverage. He turns and runs, but he just was unable to get turned and even try to locate the ball and make a play. So a good drive by the 49ers to recapture the lead here and see now what old number 12's able to do.
Dawson will kick it away. Randall Cobb waiting deep. Line drive kick. Picked up by Khalil Bell. The former Chicago Bear, added during the season, returns at 18 yards. Fox Tuesday is celebrating the new year with a brand new night of comedy. Don't miss Dads, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, New Girl, and The Mindy Project. It all starts 8 Eastern, 7 Central this Tuesday on Fox.
We saw Bakhtiari go into the tunnel and get checked. Possible concussion, and now you've got Marshall Newhouse, number 74, who has played some right tackle this year, but now he'll be manning that blind spot for Aaron Rodgers.
Starting at the 33, it's Lacy running to the right side. He gets one. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, as David Bakhtiari undergoes that concussion protocol, he went in on that extra point after the John Kuhn touchdown. He did so on his own accord, pushing past the team doctors to get on the field.
Pam, thanks. So now he's getting looked at. Newhouse at left tackle. Troy, as you mentioned, he got a couple of starts out at right tackle this season. Don Barclay, the only offensive lineman to miss a start up front for Green Bay. Pass is caught by Nelson. Makes a couple of moves and has got a first down. Went around Bowman and got 11. Rodgers found Jordy Nelson last week at Chicago 10 times for a 161-yard day. Both season highs. He's got 7 for 62 in this one against the 49ers with a touchdown. Rodgers with protection. Lacy had a lot of room in front of him, could not make the catch.
Yeah, he did, and it was given to him because Rodgers had so much time in the pocket, again trying to take a shot down the field. Mike McCarthy has called some things to try to get the ball down the field for a big gain, and the 49ers just continue to cover it up, and everybody underneath. They've got Eddie Lacy. Would have been a pretty nice gain, just unable to catch him.
Lacy on a draw. Knocked down just shy of midfield by Tony Jarrett. Eddie, a gain of 5. Third down coming up.
They got it to a third and medium here, third and manageable, and the 49ers have been so good all year long on third down, 6th in the NFL in stopping people on third down, and they've been tough again here in this game. Packers have not had a lot of success here on third down today.
2 for 9 on third down. Third down and 5. Rodgers just flips it to John Cohn for the first down. A gain of 8 on third and 5.
I talked about John Cohn. You can't have enough guys like this on your football team. He is one of the most selfless players on this Packers squad, and he'll do anything that's asked of him, and so many times it doesn't show up. That block he made last week against Julius Peppers won't show up, but we all know how important that was.
Here's Lacy. What a run. Down inside the 35. They're going to mark him near the 33, a gain of 8. And he just refuses to go down after not just initial contact, but the second contact, the third contact, whatever.
Now, there's 49ers all around him. He's dodging them and finding lanes, and for a guy that's as physical as he is, he's pretty nifty with his feet too. You know, I mean, he has shown that. Certainly has shown it here today, but he has shown it really throughout the second half of this season.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, 5-3.
Second down and 2. Late blitz. Rodgers gets away from it. That was Cox who missed, and the pass caught by Cobb inside the 10.
Slot blitz here, Paris Cox, and Aaron Rodgers, he's able to make a miss, and when you do, that really leaves your coverage vulnerable. Looked like he had Jordy Nelson initially down the middle of the field. He comes back to Randall Cobb, and how many times we're going to see Randall Cobb, when Aaron Rodgers is in trouble, find a way to get open? Some guys have that ability. They have a knack for knowing what the quarterback is looking for, and he's had it ever since he arrived here in Green Bay.
Only 2 catches in this game like last week. Like against the Bears, he's made him count. Timeout, Aaron Rodgers. Randall Cobb last week had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns, including the game winner at Chicago. He's got 2 catches in this game, including this one, 25 yards to set the ball up with a first down for Green Bay. And again, that's the stuff you miss when Aaron Rodgers is out. That unspoken language, that cohesion that exists between quarterback and receiver, and those 2 guys, and he and Nelson really have that as well.
They really do. I mean, it's impressive to watch, and you talk about how the great players really elevate the players around them. And last week after that win against the Bears, all these guys, offensive players, defensive players, came out and talked about what Aaron Rodgers means to this team. And I asked Aaron Rodgers, not that he didn't already know that, but what that meant to him. And he almost got a little emotional in the meeting room, Joe, and he said that's why he was determined to come back and play last week. And he appreciates it, that his teammates appreciate all that he does.
First and goal from the 9. Now it's Cobb getting it on a handoff. Nothing there. Bowman throws him to the ground. No gain on the play. Second and goal, 6 minutes left.
Good old Cobb back there in the backfield, and that's one of the things that Mike McCarthy said he's going to have a bigger role. As you said, he's got the 2 catches, but that was another way to try to get the ball into his hands.
He's in the backfield to start this play now in motion. Rodgers flushed out to his right. Nothing out there, so he throws it away. Now 3rd down and goal against this San Francisco defense that during the regular season was 13th best inside the red zone. They're trying to get a big stop here, up by 3.
Aldon Smith thought he got held on that play by Don Barclay, and as he's trying to signal to the official to let him know, TJ Lang came over and knocked him down. You're going to see as Aldon Smith comes off the edge and Aaron Rodgers leaves, he's wanting the flag, and looks like he might have even come up a little gimp too. He's been dealing with that throughout this game.
3rd down and goal. Rodgers with time. Now will just go down, but a flag is thrown. Aldon Smith is slow to get up, if he does at all. And they threw the flag in the area. It's a hold against Green Bay. And you'll see San Francisco decline it.
Offense, number 71. The penalty is declined. He brings up 4th down.
They get sitting on the hold. It's 4th down.
They got him on the hold on Justin Smith. I think that was the right call. Aldon Smith, as we see him, hey, I'm impressed with him for a guy who's clearly less than 100%. He's had to leave the field. He's had the injury, and yet he keeps coming out and doing whatever he can. It's impressive, but yet this 49ers defense, they got a lot of those kind of guys.
24-yard try. Just a bit more than extra point distance for Crosby, who ties it. He's 2 for 2 in the game. And we're tied at 20 with just over 5 to go. San Francisco about to get it back. They have only 1 timeout remaining. The game is tied 20-20. Crosby will kick it away with James waiting deep. We've had 4 lead changes in this game, now tied with 5:06 remaining. The winner of this game goes on to Carolina. Match up against the number 2 seeded Panthers in the early window next Sunday. This one will go out of the end zone. 49ers will start with it at their 20. And so now Colin Kaepernick, who is 2-0 in his career against the Green Bay Packers, will head back to work. And it's that dual threat that Kaepernick brings with his arm and his legs, as he's closing in on a 100-yard rushing day that has to concern the Green Bay Packers.
Well, yeah, I think you look at this drive right now for San Francisco, and if you're Colin Kaepernick, you've got to look at this like this may be the last time you get the football and drive this ball down the field and take as much time off the clock while doing it.
Kaepernick comes underneath, finds Crabtree. Crabtree making moves, and he's going to cross the 30 with a 1st down. Nick Perry tried to make the stop. Crabtree went right around him.
We've seen so many times in these games, not just, we saw it yesterday, certainly in the Saints-Eagles game, and sometimes it's just a matter of who has the ball last, and we see it each and every week. And right now, with 4.5 minutes to play and the clock running, and the 49ers, that's what they have in mind, is going into their 5-minute offense, driving the ball down the field, scoring points, and not leaving anything left. But that 1 timeout left, that could come back to haunt them.
Play action from Kaepernick, who's going to air it out. Vernon Davis is overthrown by plenty. 2nd and 10.
That's a throw, and again, we've documented what the weather conditions are here, and balls are going to get away from you. It's not always as easy as it looks, but when you're one-on-one with Vernon Davis and you've got the entire field out in front of you, you've got to throw this ball and let him go get it. Instead, he leads him up that hash, and he has no opportunity to make a play on that ball. You just don't get that many looks without any safety help with a guy that can run like Vernon Davis.
2nd and 10. Kaepernick nearly picked by Micah Hyde. He was there as the ball was intended for Bolden, and Hyde could not haul it in.
This would have been a tough throw, even if he put it where he needed to put it, out on the boundary. But this ball got away from him, and boy, the 49ers are really lucky here because Micah Hyde has a chance to make a play on that ball. It's that type of play that's the difference in winning and losing.
3rd down and 10. Four men on the rush. Kaepernick steps through it. Finds a man, Crabtree. And Michael Crabtree, who is in his 6th game back after missing the first 11, good for 17 yards in a big 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, and once he steps up there, he puts the pressure right on the defense, and it freezes everybody, but he's able to get the ball into Crabtree. The Packers decided to play zone coverage on that play. Crabtree finds the hole. That's a big-time conversion to keep this drive going.
Handoff to Gore. Well played. M.D. Jennings was in on the stop, along with Devon House. Remember, and you alluded to it briefly, the 2 timeouts San Francisco had to use, one before they ran an offensive play here in the 2nd half, the other before there was less than 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. They're left with only 1.
Yeah, they're left with 1, and it won't matter if they're able to do what they hope to do with this drive right here offensively.
2nd and 9. Under 3 to go. Pass caught by Gore, and Gore is going to be spun down at the 40 by Brad Jones, but a gain of 11 and a 1st down for the 49ers.
Yeah, not much rush on Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick, who, as we saw, he got away with the throw that Micah Hyde might have been able to make a play on. This time he wisely just checks it down rather than try to force something down the field. It's an excellent job.
As we approach the 2-minute warning. Clock will wind down. Green Bay with 2 timeouts. San Francisco only 1. It'll be a 1st down for the 49ers at the Green Bay 40 in a tie game. Playoff football at Lambeau Field. 1st down at the Green Bay 40. It's Gore. And Gore will take it for a yard, maybe a yard and a half. Morgan Burnett on the tackle with Ryan Pickett.
Well, the Green Bay Packers right now will start giving some consideration to using their timeouts. The San Francisco 49ers, did you see him running off the field? Adam Snyder. He came in on that last play, 6th offensive lineman. They go with their heavy package to try to run the football, a minimal gain. Obviously, we know what 49ers trying to do, move this thing into range and milk this clock.
2nd and 8. Kaepernick pass incomplete for Vernon Davis. Coverage by Morgan Burnett. And now it's 3rd down and 8. They're right at the edge of field goal range in normal conditions for Phil Dawson, whose career long is 56 yards. That's what it would be from this spot if they don't gain another yard. But on this cold night at Lambeau, there is nothing automatic or routine about any field goal try. 3rd and 8. Blitz. Kaepernick with his legs gonna pick it up. Colin Kaepernick beat the Green Bay Packers last year in the playoffs with his legs. Picks up 11 and a huge first down here.
Well, just a huge mistake by Jared Bush as he comes off the edge. He's out there to contain Colin Kaepernick. Instead, he comes underneath the block of Gore, and it opens up the edge then for Kaepernick to escape the pocket and pick up the first down. Dom Capers makes a great call to keep Kaepernick in the pocket, and Jared Bush makes a mistake.
Now from inside the 30, it's Gore. Frank Gore is going to plow down inches inside the 22. Well within field goal range for Phil Dawson. Under a minute to go and a timeout taken by Green Bay. They have only one left. Let's go down to Erin Andrews.
Joe, I had a chance to speak with Phil Dawson before the game, and I asked him, at what range are you comfortable at if it comes down to you? And he said, no range. And he also told me I could quote him on that. He said, the ball feels like an absolute brick. The footing's going to get worse throughout the entire game. He said, of course, if it comes down to me, I could go about 45 yards out and maybe 5 more. But he said, in these conditions, it is so difficult to kick. Of course, this is a guy that spent his first 14 seasons with Cleveland and knew some cold conditions.
Yeah, he's been one of the most accurate field goal kickers in the league. It's roughly a 40-yard try, maybe 41 yards from this spot, so that's within the range. But if he's willing to be quoted on that, not exactly bursting with confidence as we look at this last play, and Kaepernick taking off for that big first down run. Second down and 5. More from Gore. Hawk brings him down from behind as he takes it to the 20. And now you're looking at a 38-yard field goal try from this spot. Green Bay now out of timeouts.
Well, this has been a great drive by San Francisco. We talked about it, that with just over 5 minutes to play, that you got to play it as though it's going to be the last time you get it and convert on third downs. They've done that. But the big play on this drive, in my opinion, was Jared Bush off the edge and not keeping Kaepernick in the pocket here on third down. He's in a great position there, but then he tries to come inside. If he just stays up the field, he's able to at least keep him there, and it's unlikely that the 49ers would have done anything with it.
Phil Dawson is coming off a game-winning kick that beat Arizona 23-20. He has 2 game winners this season and is 11 for 11 in the fourth quarter this year, his first year in San Francisco. It's third down and 3. Green Bay cannot stop the clock again. It's Gore with first down yardage. It is a first down for San Francisco. We saw the head linesman come in and motion for the first down as the clock continues to wind inside of 40 seconds. But now Ed Hockley is going to call timeout and measure. You could see the head linesman run in and give the first down signal. But they're going to stop the clock with 38 seconds and measure to make sure.
Well, we talked about Will Tukuafu, who has gotten his playing time. As we show, that's a first down, and they got in behind the 290-pounder, and he clears out a hole. Here he is, the fullback spot. Frank Gore, he's patient. He gets in off of that block and gets enough to pick up that first down. Now they're going to run this thing down and let Phil Dawson do his thing.
It's going to come down to the right leg of number 9, Phil Dawson. The ball right now is at the 17, which is a 35-yard try from this spot. Kicking into the south end of this stadium. It's Gore who covers up, takes it down just inside the 15. San Francisco played this entire fourth quarter with only 1 timeout remaining, and they're going to use it and then send Dawson out to try and send the 49ers to Carolina for a date next Sunday with the Panthers.
Harbaugh checking the clock. He's going to work this thing to 3 seconds, call timeout. And as you said, see what Phil Dawson can do here to win this ball game.
You've got a rookie long snapper in Kevin McDermott. The holder is the punter Andy Lee. Phil Dawson is out there to try and win this playoff game at Lambeau Field. For the Packers, all time in the postseason in Lambeau up till 2001, and through that season 13-0 here at home. Since Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons came in here and won, they're 3-4 and maybe facing 3-5. If Dawson can hit from 33 to win it.
In these conditions, anything can happen, Joe, from the snap to the hold. Takes perfect execution.
The rookie will snap it. It is good. San Francisco moves on as they win here at Lambeau Field. Dawson ends it with a 33-yarder. And the final 23-20 San Francisco.
Correction. The field goal is good.
Colin Kaepernick moves to 3-0 in his career against the Green Bay Packers. He beat him in the playoffs last year. He beats him in the playoffs this year. And nearly had, Troy, another 100-yard day running the football.
He made big plays when he had to with his feet. He threw the ball well in these conditions. We thought that he would, but the legs that he was able to run and pick up the first down, big plays.
Kaepernick's got to win. So do the 49ers. On to Carolina they go. State Farm postgame show's coming up. Stay tuned for that after the break.